Hello everyone, how's it all going? Welcome back to another episode of Louis' Garage. So we are actually going to be working on a new car to the channel today. This is a Mini Cooper S that we've just bought for my wife. It's an F56 model, which is the BMW 2-litre turbo engine. And it's a really amazing car. I really like it. I think my wife loves it as well. And what are we going to do today to the car? Well, we are going to be changing the tail lights from the standard taillights to the Union Jack taillights that came in the later versions of this car. Managed to get a really good deal on some taillights that are almost brand new, so we are going to be fitting them to the car today. Alright everyone, so we're at the back of the car, and as you can see, it is a Mini, which is awesome. It's cool. And it is the blazing red 2 color, which is a really interesting color. It's like a bit of a metallic pearl type effect, which is really cool. As you can see here, this is the original taillight, which is fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just not as cool as the new Union Jack ones. So I've actually started test fitting on this side already, and as you can see, that makes the car look so much better and so much newer as well, which is awesome. So we're going to be installing the same lights on this side, and we are going to have to do some coding as well, because the original lights are incandescent, whereas the new lights are LED. So we're going to have to bring up Bimmercode and actually code the ECU. So I'll show you how to do that today as well. Alright, let's get on to removing the old taillight. Okay, so with removing the old taillight, we're going to have to remove this chrome, or sometimes it's black, trim around the taillight. So that's where we're going to start. And what I found is it's a lot better if you try and get this top tab off first, because that'll give you a lot more room to wiggle around and do the other tabs. But what's really good is if you can just pull on the edge of this trim piece and try and pull to the side and pull up at the same time, because I do have trim clips, trim removal tools, but I found that these actually, they don't really work that well with this piece of trim. So it's better just to try and manipulate the trim and go around the edges a little bit and try and get this top bit done. Alright, so yeah, like this bit, I'm literally just pulling it to my right, and then it comes off pretty easily from the clip. So that's kind of what you have to do. You just got to manipulate it, pull it off, pull it up a little bit, and try and get it out of the little clips that are in the trim. Like I said, for this top piece, so this is the toughest bit to get out. Basically, you just try and pull up on this trim piece as much as you can, and then try and pull it out at the same time, and it will come off. And then once you get that top bit off, then it should be relatively easy to get the whole thing off like that. So that's the trim piece done. And then we've got 3 T25 bolts. So 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so get your T25 screwdriver or ratchet, whatever it is you want to use. They're usually not very tight, so you can just use a screwdriver, so that was it. And then this one down here. Yep, and then this one down here. And then we can remove those bolts. Alright, and then now what you're going to do is open up this cover in the boot. This normally gives you access to, you know, change the bulbs, all that sort of stuff. So what we need to do is remove the tail light. It's going to be a little bit stuck on because of the seal, but once you break the seal, it should be fine. But what you want to do is actually push in these couple of little clips on the bottom of the tail light while you're removing it, because this is like a backup retention system. It is a little bit difficult. You might have to use different hands. You might have to use your right hand or your left hand depending on the clip, but it's totally possible to do it. So I'm just going to do that now, and then I'll show you the result after. Alright, so once you get in there and remove that little clip, or loosen that little clip, you should be able to just take the tail light completely out, and we've only got the cable here. Just undo that cable by pressing the tab right there, and then the cable will come out. Right, so that's the plug and the cables. Now in some videos I've seen that people have had to swap some of these cables around, but for mine it's actually all full. Like there's no spare cables anywhere, there's no spare sockets or anything. So I don't think I actually need to do anything, but we'll give it a try and see. I might have to you know, redo this later on, I'm not sure, but we'll give it a go. Alright, so I'm just going to clean around the edge here, because it is looking a little bit dirty, and then I'm going to put in the new taillights. Right, yeah, it's always a good idea just to give all the surfaces a bit of a clean, especially when there's a seal involved, and it just makes the car look a little bit better as well. There we go, just give it a good clean with some nice detailer. Okay, awesome, and then we should be ready to go. Alright, so here's our new taillight looking nice and fresh, and all we have to do is plug in the socket, the connector, into the socket there, and then put it back in, and it should look the same as the other side. Alright, last step of the physical install is just to put the bolts back in, 1, 2, 3, and then put the chrome trim back in. I'm not going to put the chrome trim back in just yet because I'm not actually 100% sure that I've got the plug correct and all the wires correct, but I can at least screw these in because it's pretty easy to unscrew. Sweet, and then we'll get our OBD reader out and start using Bimmercode. Okay, it looks like we do need to do some coding because there are some error messages coming up, but the indicators and the brake lights are working currently, so I think not too far away. Right, so here's my OBD reader. I've opted for the OBDLink MX Plus, not just because it does really good diagnostic information and is able to, you know, read and communicate with lots of ECUs and lots of different brands, but also apparently it updates data really fast in real time, and that's really helpful for my track days when I'm doing telemetry and data logging. So with the Mini, the OBD reader is pretty easy to access. It's right next to the hood handle, just over here, and we just need to plug this in, just like this. Cool. And you can see the power icon is already blinking, which is a good sign. So we're going to be in Bimmercode from here on in. I've got my OBDLink MX Plus plugged in, and now we can go into Bimmercode, select Mini. Yep, that's right. I do need to tell you that you have to download you have to pay for the full version of Bimmercode before it allows you to actually write any of the coding to the car. Right, so we're just identifying ECUs. Cool, so we go to the body domain controller, and it's going to read a whole bunch of data. It's going to take a little while, but that's fine. Alright, so we've read the body domain controller, and this is a little bit different to what I've seen in other videos, so maybe this is the updated version, I'm not 100% sure. So the other versions, they have like a voltage monitoring section. I can't find the voltage monitoring section for my one, but what I can find is LED conversion, which kind of makes sense because that's what we're doing. So you can see here we've got LED conversion brake light, so I think that's meant to be active. We're going to give this a try, and we've got LED conversion rear fog light. Yep, so they're all LEDs now. LED conversion reversing light, and LED conversion rear turn signals. So hopefully that works. I can't really find anything else in here that is related to the taillights or voltage monitoring, so I'm hoping that this actually works. We'll figure it out together, I guess. Alright, so then you click on the code button and you go start coding. Cool, writing coding data, yep, finishing coding, restarting ECU, alright, there we go. Okay, the car's starting now. And it says coding complete. Okay, now brakes on. Nice. And then indicators. Nice. Reverse. Nice. And then turn the headlights, put into park. Yeah, and then turn the headlights on. Nice. And then brake again. Cool. It's working. Yeah, it's working. Alright everyone, so now the taillights are properly installed and they're looking fantastic. So let me know what you think about this mod. Is this something that is worthwhile to do? I think it makes the car look a lot more modern, a lot newer, and it's really nice having that Union Jack logo there as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. There's going to be a little bit more content coming for the Mini, which is really cool, and a little bit more content coming for the Alfa Romeo, because I need to do some DIY stuff on that car soon as well. Okay, awesome. See you next time. Bye bye.